Stop scrolling. What you're about to hear isn't just breaking news. It's the kind of scandal that dominates headlines, crashes the internet, and leaves even the most seasoned social media watchers in shock. King Harris, the son of hip-hop legend T.I., has just been brutally attacked in jail, immediately after being sentenced. And let me tell you, the chaos is far uglier than most people can even imagine. For months, King lived life like a real-life movie star, flaunting diamond chains, expensive cars, and flashy Instagram lives where he broadcast his lifestyle as untouchable. He acted like he was untouchable, like no consequences could ever reach him, like reality itself would bend around the fact that he was T.I.'s son. But reality, as it turns out, doesn't play favorites. It doesn't care who your father is, how much fame surrounds your name, or how many fans cheer your reckless antics. The so-called Street King got humbled in the rawest way possible, and the footage of the attack is spreading faster than wildfire, causing shockwaves across the internet and social media platforms. People are asking the same question: was this attack just a random scuffle between inmates, or was it a meticulously calculated takedown meant to send a message to the young heir of hip-hop royalty? Some whisper that it's gang politics at play, a show of dominance from within the prison walls, while others claim it's karma catching up with someone who has repeatedly flaunted rules, law, and common sense. And while the world is still reeling from the chaos, one thing is clear: King Harris's jailhouse ordeal isn't just a story about one bad night. It's a story about ego, reckless power, and a legacy that might be collapsing in real time. Stay tuned, because what happens next could very well be the final nail in the coffin for the Harris family dynasty. King Harris, the very name has the internet buzzing with intrigue, gossip, and outrage. The son of T.I., the self-proclaimed King of the South, a young man born into privilege and fame, and yet, despite this legacy, he somehow managed to turn his life into a blueprint for disaster. From the very start, King didn't behave like an ordinary celebrity child. He acted bulletproof, untouchable, as though the fame of his father and the wealth of his family placed him above the law, above consequences, and above reality itself. On Instagram, he flexed stacks of cash, throwing extravagant lives at the camera, while viral clips showed him out of control in clubs, speeding down highways with cameras rolling, leaving chaos in his wake. He behaved as if the rules simply didn't apply to him. And why would he think otherwise? The son of the hip-hop mogul, showered in parental love and support, with millions of online followers cheering his every move, had every reason to believe that he could get away with anything. But there's a harsh truth that fame and money often conceal. The bigger the ego, the harder the fall. The first real crack in King's carefully curated illusion of invincibility came in October 2024. That was the day the fantasy collided violently with reality. King was attempting to pull out of a gas station like a character straight from a Fast and Furious movie, reckless swerving, music blasting, phone in hand, adrenaline pumping, every moment captured on camera. And then, disaster struck. Almost colliding with a police cruiser, King suddenly found himself on the wrong side of the law, and the incident served as a glaring neon sign flashing that his luck was about to run out. But it didn't stop there. The police didn't just stop him to issue a traffic ticket. They smelled marijuana, a pungent, unmistakable cloud that left no room for denial, and then discovered a Glock strapped to his hip. Apparently, King believed a gun was no different than a chain or a pair of designer sneakers, just another accessory to flex in front of the camera. One officer allegedly muttered, "He thinks this is a fashion show." But the situation was far more serious than a mere comment on style. When the authorities ran his name, the skeletons came tumbling out of the closet. Warrants, skipped court dates, a suspended license, DUI, reckless driving. It was as if King had been playing a high-stakes game of legal bingo and managed to check off every square. He had failed to appear in court, he had multiple instances of reckless driving, and he was carrying a weapon illegally. And yet, through it all, King remained unnervingly calm, almost eerily still, as if deep down he knew the party was over. And the internet, of course, consumed it all. Within hours, footage of him sitting in the back of a squad car went viral, accompanied by memes, hashtags, and endless TikToks. Some mocked him mercilessly, dubbing him Court Jester Harris, while others labeled it karma in motion, a cautionary tale for anyone who believed they were untouchable. For a fleeting moment, sympathy tried to creep in. People whispered that he was just a kid making mistakes. But consider this. How many chances does a young person get when their mistakes involve drugs, guns, and the reckless endangerment of others? This was far from a harmless incident. It was gasoline and fire, and King Harris was holding the match. The contrast between his public image and reality made the situation even more surreal. One day he was showing off luxury vehicles, BMWs, Lamborghinis, and even his father's Rolls-Royce on Instagram. The next day, he was in the back of a police car, wrists cuffed, face pressed against the glass, as paparazzi immortalized his fall for public entertainment. It was almost as if the internet collectively laughed from penthouse to jailhouse in less than 24 hours. And you might think that this public humiliation would be enough to awaken him to the dangers of his lifestyle. After all, his father, T.I., had been issuing warnings for years, urging his son to get it together, cautioning that the streets would not coddle him, that they would consume him alive if he wasn't careful. But like many cautionary tales, King dismissed these warnings, believing himself to be the exception, the one person who could dance with fire and never get burned. Spoiler alert, fire does not play favorites, and reality has no loyalty to fame or fortune. When the trial came, the courtroom was abuzz with reporters, influencers, and bloggers, all eager to witness whether the privileged son of a rap icon would somehow walk free. Some fans placed their faith in T.I.'s connections, hoping they could mitigate the consequences. Others prepared to criticize what they saw as a classic case of nepotism in action. But the law had no interest in fame. The judge didn't see a celebrity kid. He saw a young man with a rap sheet longer than his Instagram bio, a potential danger to the public, and an individual who had made repeated reckless choices. When the gavel slammed, King Harris was not only sentenced, but confronted with a mirror reflecting all his past indiscretions. The sentencing itself became a spectacle, with tweets, memes, and viral TikToks capturing the moment. One popular TikTok captioned it as "first day of school vibes, except it's jail orientation." Behind the jokes and memes, however, the tension was palpable. How would a young man like King survive in a prison environment where status symbols meant nothing, and survival was dictated by hierarchy, politics, and the ability to navigate dangerous social dynamics? This was no nightclub or Instagram Live. This was prison, where fame and fortune offered no protection.
King walked into the facility with his chin high, masking fear with a smirk aimed at reporters, a symbolic act of defiance. But smirks and bravado cannot shield anyone when the steel cell doors slam shut and the harsh realities of incarceration set in. Hours after sentencing, rumors began to circulate about an incident inside the jail walls. The details were initially vague, a scuffle, perhaps a verbal confrontation, but soon leaks appeared online using words like attack and brutal. Anonymous accounts claimed that the attack was not random. The perpetrators were waiting for him, intending to test the so-called Street King. By the time shaky footage surfaced online, the internet erupted once again. Blurry angles, muffled shouts, and a figure being shoved made it clear King Harris was no longer untouchable. The memes quickly shifted from humor to outrage, the laughter transforming into speculation. People wanted answers. What happened? Who was behind it? And why so soon after his sentencing? Was this merely the harsh reality of prison life claiming a spoiled celebrity kid? Or was it a deliberate, orchestrated attack designed to send a message about power, hierarchy, and legacy? The social media storm intensified. Within hours, hashtags like King Harris attacked, chaos behind bars, and reality check were trending worldwide. Internet users weren't just curious, they were obsessed. Everyone demanded to know who had touched T.I.'s son and why. Official statements from jail authorities were suspiciously muted, downplaying the attack as a minor incident with no serious injuries. Classic damage control. Meanwhile, anonymous sources painted a much darker picture. According to alleged inmate insiders, King had been jumped by 3 men, a coordinated act intended to prove a point. Others claim that he had been targeted because of his loudmouth and flashy attitude, which had rubbed inmates the wrong way. Then came the footage. Grainy, shaky, undeniable. King Harris, handcuffed and pressed against the wall, receiving blows, shoved and slammed into walls. Guards intervened, but not before the damage was done. The clip was less than 30 seconds, yet it captured a lifetime of humiliation. In that short period, the persona of King Harris, the flexing, the bragging, the I'm untouchable energy, shattered like glass. The internet went nuclear. Fans reposted the clip with captions like, "From VIP to victim in seconds." Memes flooded TikTok. One even spliced his Instagram live with the jail footage, captioned, "Real life ain't Wi-Fi." The fallout wasn't just virtual. T.I., a man who had built his empire on grit and resilience, now had to watch his son crumble in front of millions. An anonymous family insider reported that T.I. was furious, warning King repeatedly that this life was no game. The media spun headlines like, "T.I. breaks down after son's jail attack," while his mother, Pamela Warner, was captured by paparazzi outside their Atlanta home, visibly shaken and tearful. Anonymous sources suggested that she blamed the system, the media, and even T.I. himself for allowing King to spiral into chaos. Meanwhile, rappers, influencers, and social media personalities weighed in with their opinions. One rival rapper posted, "You can't flex forever, karma undefeated." Another hinted that the attack was only the precursor to what was coming. Suddenly, this wasn't just a jail incident, it was a cultural event, a public spectacle feeding the endless appetite for chaos and scandal. Rumors of a larger conspiracy began circulating. Alleged prison sources suggested the attack was not merely about words or ego, but carefully planned. The attackers, allegedly connected to outside crews, wanted to send a statement about power, control, and the notion that no one, not even T.I.'s son, is untouchable behind bars. Some theorists even posited the attack was designed to embarrass T.I. himself, punishing King not just for arrogance, but as a message to the father's legacy. Conspiracy YouTubers uploaded hour-long breakdowns, marking blurry figures with arrows and circles, claiming this was all orchestrated. As debates raged online, 2 camps emerged. One argued that King deserved his downfall, a privileged celebrity kid whose arrogance caught up to him. The other insisted he was still a young man trapped in a cycle of mistakes, paying a price far too steep for his age. Meanwhile, the business side of the chaos was thriving. Viral prison footage generates views, ad revenue, and profit, and countless blogs and websites capitalized on King Harris's suffering, publishing clickbait headlines and racking up millions of clicks. And yet, despite all the noise, the real question remains: what happens next? Can King Harris survive the ruthless politics of prison life? Will T.I. intervene to protect him, secure a transfer, or even attempt to secure an early release? Or is this attack only the beginning of a much darker chapter in a saga that has only just begun? Because make no mistake, this isn't the end. The bruises may heal, but the humiliation lasts forever. And when the next piece of leaked footage inevitably appears, and it almost certainly will, the chaos, speculation, and public fascination will only grow louder. King Harris, once untouchable and flaunting wealth, now serves as a cautionary tale of privilege, recklessness, and the harsh realities of fame when it collides with the unflinching consequences of life behind bars. The story isn't over, the drama isn't finished, and the internet won't stop watching.